us pop up.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, we're live.
Okay.
There you go. Thank you, everybody who is joining us. This is going to be an awesome discussion. We're very excited to have a few folks from the community, and especially privileged again to have Barbu Beard Company in-house today. And then also another really awesome person named Brian. He is also known as Bearded Hog Fan. And thanks for coming in, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Hey, appreciate it, man.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. My sister was going to join, but she is not feeling good. She really, really enjoyed our last discussion and was all about wanting to join again because she just really enjoyed it that much. So, but she is under the weather, so that just happens sometimes.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, bummer. But so let's jump in. So we're here to discuss this wonderful product. We had a discussion about, there we go. We had this discussion about a month ago, right? Probably about a little bit less than a month, a little bit over a month. Yeah, a little bit less than a month. And we were just about on the threshold of being able to, of this new product. And I absolutely was blown away by the video. I just absolutely thought that was artistic, ingenious, and was very good representation after I found out what it was of the product itself. I was really happy to see how well that was put together. Again, I know that you are a teacher of this, but blown away, professional, very professional.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it was just shy of a couple days prior to releasing the video that we had the interview, the stream. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, very excited. So that being said, he did release the Shaman. And for those of you who are new to Barbu, I would say that he is one of the best players in this space with complexity. He has a lot of very original scents that I absolutely love, and I own probably about 6 or 7 of them now. And absolutely love every single one for different reasons. But with this one, I think that even Brian and anybody I've talked to gets a unique experience out of it. Brian, what's your thoughts?
I've got most of his stuff. I think I'm missing the Carpenter, the Pirate, and the two of the summer releases that didn't make it to the regular lineup. And man, that stuff makes my beard feel great. It makes it feel like silky smooth and soft. And it's got to be that all organic. Or just, some of the Abraham Voodoo or something. I don't know. I love it though. My beard feels great. Like I got the Shaman today, obviously.
Let's go.
And it feels like so soft. I love it. But the Shaman though, Shaman took me by surprise. I mean, just seeing the videos for the release coming up, seeing how much he put into it, and knowing that none of his guys knew about it. Right? That's something he kept very, very close to the vest and very close to the heart. And then once I ordered it just sight unseen. I think it was about 5 or 5:30 in the morning for me when I ordered it. And like I said, I just straight up ordered it. And then I went back and looked at the profiles, like, oh, it's got Nag Champa and it's sweet. My wife loves Nag Champa. And frankincense and Palo Santo, I've never smelled them, to be honest with you. But when I got it, blew me away. It's like you said, everything he's got is it's really complex and also very unique. There's nothing else out there in the small batch company, small batch market that is like his stuff. You know.
Appreciate that, Brian.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah. I mean, every company's got unique stuff. I'm not knocking any other company, but everyone's got a peach. Everyone's got a whiskey. Everyone's got this or that. There's nothing else like Barbu out there. It's 100% unique.
Completely agree.
So that's what I appreciate about it. You know.
Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's positive. It's extremely positive to find somebody who is on his mark as an artist with this. A lot of people could throw a lot of ingredients together and try to get something, but I know that this had, especially the Shaman, had a lot of thought behind it. The one thing that I noted was that what you were representing and what you did as an artist with this. And this is the interesting thing that I gained from it, was that it not only had some of the smells that as a practitioner I'm used to, the Nag Champa, but it also had the Palo Santo, which is representing a very it actually is representing the Native American culture. And then you also have the frankincense, which is a very extremely, it is one of the oils that was used by the three wise men. It was a oil that was seen as and it still is actually, if you go to try buy frankincense out of the essential oils game, you will be paying $100 for it. And it's still into that place of where it was actually on the trade route to China from the east, because it was that of a sacred smell, a sacred oil, and definitely the Nag Champa is in that same class. But you were blending those and showing a very amazing ability to. It's more like a history lesson of sacredness over time, and expanding upon how we are all human. I think that it has a lot of that to be said, because in the end, the smells that I think that smells help us in a very sacred layer of our lives, and they enhance your experience with the sacred. And I feel that that's what this really does. I have decided that I'm going to definitely use this every time that I teach meditation. I'm also going to be using this anytime that I have a couple classes that I go to, retreats that I go to. I just went to one over the last week where we opened a new temple. And I think that's what it was helping me focus. And, is that scent piece is always something that's very important as a combination of things that you're doing with your mind as well. So yeah, I love it.
That's nice, man. Absolutely. Yeah. It's in hindsight, it was just a way to collectively bring these different backgrounds together into a 1 ounce bottle. There's so much rich history in mankind, and religion is such a important part of that. Whether wherever you fall with religion, I think religion and faith is very personal, to people, but to create this, so it can get pretty deep, in my articulation of what I think it turned out being. Sometimes you have a goal on what you want to do, and eventually you get to that goal, but it almost transpires into something completely different, and I think, I personally believe in a creator, and I think these different essences were everything around us has been created for our use, properly using it, and to combine these, properties that have been cherished throughout history to create this one unified form. I found to be pretty special, you know, and I'm happy about the creation that I was able to make, and especially the impact, you know, that it's had on some people, like Brian, for example. You know, Brian really shared more than I've ever seen Brian share before. You know, about yeah, man, about, you know, his personal interaction with it, and let's call it an experience. That is an experience, you know, where it triggered a memory for him, you know, a memory that it's not something that he ever wants to forget. You know, he never wants to forget that particular memory, you know. And we had a phone call a few weeks ago. And if I think that's the payoff, you know, being able to create you know, there's a lot of great scents out there, you know, a lot of great creations. But when you make it, you know, and you have a response or reaction from an individual that is so profound, based on what you made, it's actually, it's a beautiful thing, you know, and that's the payoff. That's it's not about selling 50 bottles or generating a new scent every week or something like that. You know, that's a very complex scent. I think Barbu Joe just couldn't, if you guys caught that that review he did,
yeah,
him nor Johnny could pin it down to anything. And it's
I don't think Johnny was prepared for it.
I don't think so either. I think he did a good job in what he did, what he was able to do. I think there's some scents that are out of some people's league, you know, just because they haven't gotten to that point yet. But again, I give him kudos for going for it. And Barbu Joe, I think he articulated the purpose behind the scent quite well. But again, it's such a complex scent because it's not supposed to be put into words, you know. It's not, you can't just say it's whiskey or it smells like pumpkin spice, or
you can't classify, you can't categorize them, and it defies categorization. It is its own category. You know?
Yeah, I find it sort of and Andrew, you and I had this chit chat back and forth about the sublime, you know. If anyone who's watching or you guys, you know, you've ever experienced a moment of sublimity, those are moments that aren't articulated in words. You can't put those into words. I'm not going to say that this particular profile is a sublime experience, depending for who it might be, you know, but it's close in regards to where it can't be really put into a language except experiencing it, you know. And I think that's pretty damn unique, you know. And the video was created as a homage, you know. The video was created as a homage from research that I've done, from my personal experiences with Santeria and living in Miami, being Cuban as well, and understanding different aspects of Catholicism and things that I've always been interested in, you know, growing up. So there, it's again, it's an artistic expression of what I wanted to convey to the viewers in the most purest sense, you know. The oil needed that delivery, you know. It needed that. The video was a gateway for the video, for the oil, you know, in order for you to really understand it. And in some ways, we are Shaman, you know, the makers of these products. You know, a lot of people just mix things together and to make a profit and sell it. But there are some of us out there that go through certain processes to get to it. Obviously, the video is an exaggeration of that. You know, it's a performance piece, but in reality that there is a shamanistic type of quality to mixing these different things together to create one, so
What, if you don't mind me popping in real quick, what went off in your head that said, I need to make this? What in your creative mind, what said, I'm going to get these 3 scents, I'm going to put them together? What triggered this?
Sometimes it's intuition, you just kind of go with your intuition. I knew I wanted to create something very, very different from everything else that I've created. I'm happy to say that all my scents are created in uniquely complex on purpose, I just, because I enjoy the levels of scent and how they change throughout the day. And I was peeked into Palo Santo. I found it interesting, and I read up on it and I did some research. So I ordered some essential oil and I kind of fell in love with the scent, and then I had some chama and I was like, okay, this is very, very, very nice. But I have to be careful not to overdo it with it, because then it basically becomes an incense,
Oh, speaking of which, I'm
Weirdo.
some dog chama back here.
That's awesome.
Right. So it's all about balance, and I guess everyone is different. So everyone's sensory is different, and some people will pick one up over the other. Frankincense, again, is more of a background note, even though it's still there. And then there's a couple other ones that I included as well, that again serve a purpose for the reason why I created it. So it wasn't like one day, it was just something that slowly developed throughout time, and it kind of materialized into, what you see, the shaman,
Yeah. And I think that goes into the art, but also I think that when you dive into the sacred, you definitely, I know you had total respect and intention on this.
Yeah, absolutely. This is, I take my work very seriously. I don't fuck around. I do my work, and I love what I do, and I have a lot of passion behind it. Everything that I do is basically a reflection of myself, and I think I let my work speak for myself, except for moments like this. It was a serious endeavor, unfortunately it got misunderstood in some cases, but just to clear the air, it was a serious endeavor, and I'm very content with the outcome and the reaction I've gotten from people, especially you guys.
I think it's I don't know. I use the word fantastic a lot. I don't know. It's just me. I think you got a home run. I think you got a calling card with this one. I've watched seen a few reviews on Instagram or Instagram TV. No one said the same thing twice. No one's saying it reminds me of this other thing or this other thing. It's just it's been, for me, having the experience I did when I got it, the wonderful smell through the packaging. Once I opened it, and I was like, oh, it's Nag Champa. God, I love this. I remember that first time I came over to my wife's apartment, she burned some Nag Champa, and all these memories came back. And I wore it the next day because, like I said, I work a flex schedule. I'm off every other Friday. So I wore it that Friday. I was off the next day. And it just brought back so many pleasant memories of my wife and I first dating, and how perfect she and I are for each other. We hardly ever argue. We finish each other's sentences. 17 years later, we're still finishing each other's sentences. And it reminds me of how much I love her and how special she is to me, and what we have together with our 2 kids, our dated house, our 2 crazy dogs, how special our life is together. And oh my God, I'm getting verklempt. Talk amongst ourselves.
Do you know what though? That's exactly what I think that Abraham was looking for, was that experience. I think that it brings you into a different journey, and I think it is transcendental. He says that in his bio for this scent, and I think that's exactly what you've accomplished. Amazing, and I think that something that brings that type of level of that's amazing to me, and I really appreciate you sharing that story, Brian, because that is something that for us people who have a relationship with anybody, it doesn't matter if it's a dog, parents, whatever, something that jogs your memory into that zone, especially good memories. You're very blessed to have the ability to have such a great relationship and have something that stirs that up for you. Absolutely. And reminds you. That's what I think Abraham as an artist was looking for. And that's exactly the kind of thing that I think that most people love to hear about and want to experience with scents like this.
Yeah, you never know the outcome, right? You just kind of you throw it out there, and then you don't know the exact reactions that you're going to get. So it's kind of like a gamble, and these type of experiences, are transcendental. They take you back, and they take you to another place mentally. So I find it as an unintended gift. It's you make something, and then it's almost like you're gifting something to someone without the intention of actually having the outcome turn out that way.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Here's something else too. Is like, I told her my wife loves Dog Champa, so I keep all my stuff together on our dresser, my beer stuff, and I've never spilled a drop of anything in the house. Well, it's in the sink. I dropped something else, but not this, obviously. But she gets like the third step before our room, and she can smell it. And the bottle is sitting there sealed up. She gets to the third step of our stairs before our room, and she can smell it.
Yeah.
Goes, oh, there's the shaman. There it is. And it's not like it's permeating the room, but she's got a very, very keen sniffer. And I think mine's going out and hers is getting better, but yeah, it's she loves it. She loves all the stuff that she uses from you guys, from Barbu.
Thank you.
These oils, pine tar stuff. I'm waiting for her to drop a review on that. She's had really good results with some weird spots on her elbow from like the chemicals or the finish. The chemicals that the cleaning crew uses at her office.
Right.
She gets weird bumpy rashes here.
Allergic reaction, maybe.
Right. Yeah. And well, the pine tar soap, 2 uses gone.
Awesome.
So, and then the Enchantress. I mean, that speaks for itself. And the bloom. She loves the bloom. I think the Enchantress is definitely hands down her favorite.
Yeah.
That one's awesome. My daughter has asked for the bottle. And my wife said no. So.
See, and that's pretty cool that you offer those type of lines, because that's something that as men we're interested in the beard oils, but having a opportunity to get something for our wife or for our loved ones in that while you're shopping for yourself is always an awesome opportunity. I saw that you're doing some other products around the Enchantress, and if you wanted to talk about that a little bit, I just saw an ad for that, so I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, we're Barbu is a family endeavor. It's a family effort, and so my wife is the artist with the jewels. So we talked about it, and I want to expand the line for women. I think it's important. I think we even spoke about this while your sister was on last time. It also gives a good excuse for a husband or a boyfriend to say, "Hey, look, I got you something." Even though that
I bought 5 things for me, but I got you this one thing, so it's cool, right?
Okay, fine, you get away with it this time, but it's nice to have some variety of products to be able to share with people, and why not make them match up? The oils are interesting, the profiles are interesting, and she does amazing work, and so we wanted to get that going. So slowly but surely, there's probably going to be a few more coming out.
In the chat, Steve Brown swears you made the Shaman for me.
What's that? Who?
Steve Brown.
Oh, Stevie. He's on.
Yeah. He says you made it for me, but no.
Isn't that cool? See, that's the experience that blows me away, and it always blows me away when you put something out into the world, like you were talking about Abraham, and it goes and is something that people can reference and have a great experience with in a unique, different way. Every single one of the people that any person that I've talked to has a very unique experience with this. Now, I went to a retreat. I was using this in my meditations. I'm planning to keep using this with any of my type of things that I do on the side, because it does bring that in me into a very sacred area for myself. And it kind of like gets me into that place right before, that scent helps me. That's what I use incense in my diffuser for anyway.
Right.
And this is a very unique smell that you can have throughout your day while you're in that space. But I think that everybody else I've talked to has a very unique experience as well. I think that Brian's experience is just one of at least 20 I've heard. At least 20 I've heard. Yeah. And very positive. Yeah, very positive.
That's good. I think what's nice too about the oil, at least personally, is I wear it pretty much every other day, just because it's one of my favorite ones. Is that it's you get the impact of the scent, but it's not overwhelming. It mellows out nicely, and with permanence. It stays with you for pretty much, at least for me, most of the day. But it's not overbearing, but you don't feel like you have to go and wash your beard out, and it changes, and that's
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like for scents to mature and to just evolve throughout the day, when it comes in contact with oxygen or, different other things that are in the environment. They slowly oxidize and versus having something static,
I swear I'll get two different things at the same time. Every so often I'll, sniff my mustache or whatever, and I get, like I was telling you, I get like, I don't want to say a cologne scent because I think I'd be insulting the shaman, but I get one scent from sniffing my mustache, and then 5 seconds later I'll catch a whiff if I move my head the right way, and I'll get the Nag Champa and the frankincense and the Palo Santo all in one, but it's different than what I get from mustache. And it's all at the same time. It's crazy.
You agree?
Yeah. But that's the awesome thing, is it's harmony. It's harmony, and then there's single notes that you can pick out when you're wanting, and it's a different experience every time you breathe in. To me, that's mindfulness. That's a mindfulness practice, and that you created with these, that you can. Every experience is a new experience. I love that about this, and it does definitely mellow over time, and changes and transforms into something different.
Mm-hmm.
And it is not overwhelming. That's the other piece that I liked about all of your products that I've tried so far, is nothing is over the top where everybody and their brother can smell it, and it definitely changes its complexity over time. And I do, like Brian was saying, you can pick up different scents. You'll pick up the Nag Champa, you'll pick up the Palo Santo, then you'll pick up the frankincense, and then you'll get this harmony going. The next scent, the next breath in, and you're just it keeps you guessing. It's total experiential, and that's something that I think that every person in the community is looking for when they're wanting to try a product. Is something that reminds them of something, and takes them to a different space.
Yeah, I don't think it's not. There's no mistake about it. These particular oils, again, have been around for ages. For centuries, and there's a reason for that. There is a reason for that, because of the impact that it has on the human sense of smell. And then once it goes into your sensory, then it evolves into your mind and does whatever you want it to.
Right.
So I think that's probably the reason why these are combined. So you're getting a big gulp of a whole like juxtaposition of various historical moments into one. So
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. That's very cool. So, and I know that you're a big. I would assume that you're a big history buff because you understand that level of that this is over human time frames, at least the last 10,000 years,
right.
that these scents have been used in some sort of spiritual ceremony. And I know that to me, it's amazing that those have transcended in, over the last 10,000, since religion has been written down,
Right.
that these have been used in sacred ceremonies of some sort. And I think that's what you're looking for is, and I think that's what this created for a lot of people is a different journey. For me, it's a spiritual journey.
Mm-hmm.
And that was what I was really loving about this was that it enhances a piece of your life that is to me, very sacred, very spiritual. And that type of thing makes me want to keep putting it in.
That's awesome to hear. I think now, at least the vast majority of people have lost touch with sense, with their senses in the way where technology has, almost rendered them useless, to a certain extent. I'm not anti-technology, but I think there's an abundance of dependency in technology and how it makes you feel, from the likes to the posts to the followers to like it's all engineered for a specific reason, and then when you come across something that is, tangible, right? Something that is human, not artificial. It touches a nerve. It's almost like you're outside and you build a little fire, a bonfire, and you find yourself staring into the fire. That I think those are connections to our forefathers. It's connections to the DNA that we have embedded in us from thousands of years. So it's that's the goal, to kind of touch back to the human essence of things, in the midst of all this, high-paced, throwaway kind of society where things don't matter, that much anymore. So
Completely agree, and that's the reason why I teach meditation, because I teach people to get into a very unique space, a space where you can create peace for yourself, and anything that helps you along that journey is very helpful. It's not and very transcending, very spiritual. And I think that that's something that I experienced with this oil was that it really was helping me kind of focus on my mindfulness with this. I love being able to meditate and be able to smell the different scents and not even have my diffuser on. That was awesome. I use a diffuser and incense to help bring that in. In a meditation, you have things lined out that represent different pieces, and I have this sitting on my on my area, and I have it because it's representing a incense.
Yeah, it's I forgot what I was going to say, but it was kind of just jumping on what you were describing. How so what I remember what I was going to say. I think the individual has to be receptive, right? So if your doors are shut, or you're just looking through, looking at the world through a tunnel vision type of scenario, then you're not going to be able to accept these other things that are kind of floating around you. In this particular sense, we're talking about the shaman and the scent profile. So you have to be receptive towards it. If not, then it's just it's going to walk by, and it might be written off as just something different. Okay, great, maybe cologne or earthy or whatnot. When I think we all know that it's far more than that.
Yeah, it's definitely a bold scent. You have to be ready for a bold scent. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Ready for that. And if you're not, like you said, you're gonna pass it off as, oh, it's too earthy for me, or it's too this. Well, once you released it and I found out what was in it, along with knowing how much of you put into it, I was like, screw it, I don't care, I'm gonna try it, and I loved it. You know what I mean? Like I knew it was gonna. Shut up, dog. I knew it was gonna be something bold, right? I knew it was gonna kick you in the balls through your nostrils and be like, wow, this is it. So, sorry, go ahead.
And I think that's exactly what you're. So to me, the reason why I also put it into a different category is because I know, Abraham, that what the intention and what you did to make this, and that intention went a long way for me having that, wanting to keep it as a very sacred item. I know that you spent months developing this, research developing it, and the intention was for people to have a very unique experience, and I'll say spiritual experience with it. And that's the kind of, I knew that coming into this, and I kept it in that space. And
Right.
That's the reason why I hold it with the way I do, is that,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's something very special. And when you know that the maker made it that special, and that's, I think, exactly what you're verbalizing, Brian, is that you knew that going into this, because we know Abraham. We've gotten to know him a little bit. I know, Brian, you've gotten to know him quite a bit more than I do, but I know that type of artistic interpretation going into something is what I was looking for, and something that helped me develop a very special connection with it, which is awesome. Which is what I look forward to in life. Making connection, like you said, and being able to connect with other people who have tried this and have that same, have a different experience maybe. But hearing Brian's story about how he reminisced over his relationship with his wife over the last 17 years, that's beautiful. I mean, because that's showing a very deep connection to your wife, and having a memory that's jogged because of it is exactly what I think that our artists are actually looking for. And every picture, every scent, every piece of art, music, whatever, has that. That's what the artist is intending for everybody to kind of get a little different thing from it. My dad's a composer, and he definitely composes it for him to enjoy, but he's also producing it so that other people can enjoy that experience. And every person I've ever talked to that heard my dad's pieces has the same exact expression. It's unique to them. They bring something unique to the plate with the experience that they had with it.
Right. It's open to interpretation.
Good art is like that.
Exactly. Yeah. If it's something that is representational of something else, then it tends to leave very little for the imagination to wander. So leaving, creating something that's non-representational, sort of, more so in the art field. If the mind is open and receptive, then they can have fun with it. They can really enjoy it and dive into it. If they're closed off due to learned behavior or societal norms or whatnot, then it's unfortunate because they're losing out on something that can actually bring them. It could be a happy experience. It could be a not so happy experience. It depends what it is. But
yeah, it's an experience.
It's an experience, correct? Yeah.
And I think that that's exactly what we take a look at when we talk about. And it's interesting because I have a good friend that's an artist as well, and he teaches college courses for art, and he dived recently into photography, and we went into his gallery probably about a year ago. And my wife saw it and was just like, oh, it's a guy at a Circle K. It was a picture of a woman, very blue, vivid shirt. He put a little bit of different hue on the photography so that he could kind of point out the blue in the shirt, the red in the sign that was the Circle K sign. And my wife's just like, why is this anything that you would pay $1,000 for? And it was nothing bashed on my wife. She just wasn't open to that type of art, and where I totally got it. I was like, but you're not seeing the depth and the passion that, while he was passing by, he took this picture of this perfect moment. And I think that that's when you talk about sense or photography or music, it creates a perfect moment for you. And that's what you're looking for as an artist. And I think that it's awesome when you see that come to fruition and other people are enjoying it.
Yeah, and on the flip side, there's a lot of shit out there, in the art world and in the beard community world or whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of shit up there. There's a lot of low budget stuff, and
bunch of NTAs.
Yeah, NTAs, no talent assholes,
I've never heard that before. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a Barbudo term. You might see the chats roll in there about that. But there's just, there's people out there who are just out to jump on a bandwagon, and try to make a quick buck, mix some things together. But just like in the art world, you go to a gallery, there's crap. There is crap, and it sells for $1,000. Just right. Who knows why,
Well, so, right. Art is subjective, right?
To a certain extent, in my opinion,
Yeah, and I think that there can definitely be hacks, and I have seen it. To me, it has a lot to do with intention. Of the artist. Are you trying to sell something that everybody's going to want to put in a motel somewhere?
Right.
Or are you trying to create this is coming from your heart, which is where this scent was coming from? You did the research, you did the time to help develop it, you put the right combinations in. You probably had about at least, a certain amount of test samples that didn't work. And you finally found the right complexity. You found what was very meaningful, and then you were able to produce it. And then the fact that you made a video to help express that level of complexity and the hard work that went into it and intention. I just love that, and I think that's the reason why I was blown away, because I dive into this area heavily. And I think that's the reason why we talked.
Yeah.
You knew that's why, the practitioner part is because I dive very heavily into that piece.
It's more of an elevated conversation, and right. I'm glad Brian is joining us tonight.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it kind of comes down to the details, the small details. You can order, an original part of a car, let's say, and a factory part of a vehicle, let's say a wheel, right? And you get it from the manufacturer, and then you order an aftermarket, wheel and made somewhere else, and you see the inconsistencies with it. You see that the lines aren't exactly straight, right? Or you don't see the edges are perfectly filed down, or you look for the details. And I think that is also applicable to beard products, or for making beard, concoctions too. And it comes down also how it feels. You can tell. I think you can tell once it's in your hand. You can totally feel the consistency and the texture of the oils.
Yeah, and I think that's what you were going for, Brian. I know you've had a lot of really great experiences with his, and if you want to, I would love to hear more about your experiences with some of his oils over and how they feel. The other piece is that they're doing a purpose. They're doing something with your beard. But I would love to hear more from you, Brian, about your experiences with Barbu's products.
They make my beard super soft. Like on weekends, I don't wear balm on the weekends just because I'm hanging out. I'm not going to work. I'm not going anywhere special. So I go just oil, and it feels like just like cotton balls, fluffy clouds. Sorry, I'm a few years in. They make it feel great, Not sure what his ratio is. That's probably a secret. Not going to ask. But his ratio of his carriers and the organic nature of things probably play a big part in it. And then during the week when I'm at work, I do wear balm. So I got to keep this thing in check. It's a bit poofy. They have the perfect amount of hold without making it feel like you just put like a bunch of gel in there. It's got perfect hold, it moves, but I also don't want it to be flying apart when I'm walking down the street on a windy day. I want it to stay in place. And that's what he does for me, And then, like I said earlier, his scents are they're one of a kind. There's nothing else there like that. You know what I mean? This, like I said before, in my video was the Shaman's my favorite, just for the way it smells, what it brought to mind, and the memories it jogged and how it makes me feel about my wife and whatnot. It's definitely my favorite. The Governor, Chris, looking at you. The Governor's number 2. The Governor is just, God, that is so unique.
He'll differ with you on that one. That's his thing, Go figure. So
the Storyteller, I think is underrated. The Storyteller is a close third, very close to number 2 with the Governor.
Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Give me 2 seconds.
Sure.
No problem.
The Storyteller is just phenomenal. I love that leather. I love that vanilla. I love that cinnamon. I love that little bit of orange in there. And actually, I'll say it out loud. I think the Storyteller for me lasts the longest.
It's an all day for sure. Plus a little bit longer. Plus a little longer. You're right.
Plus a little longer. I will wake up the next morning smelling vanilla and leather. Not crazy like I just put it in, but I can definitely smell it the next morning. But I work inside. I work in an office, downtown Denver. So I'm not out in the elements. The wind's not blowing it. I'm not in the sun. It's not fading off easily. But yeah, the Storyteller, I'm going to say the Storyteller lasts the longest by far for me. And that's not, when I say by far, I don't mean the rest don't last. The rest last all day. All those other scents last all day. But the Storyteller for me is an all day, faintly into the next morning.
Yeah.
You have a Storyteller, right, Andrew?
I do. I got the Storyteller in balm and in oil, and I absolutely love it. we were just chatting. I love hearing the stories. It is definitely, I was sitting there thinking about, I really like the storyteller. And then, the one that really hit me and snuck up on me was the blacksmith.
Hmm.
I
Yes.
was, we were talking about that. That is the one that I thought, this must have been one of his early on ones. When I first got it, I was like, it smells like anise. That's licorice, black licorice, right? And then I put it in beard.
Yep.
And then, bam, I was like, and I think I actually DM'd you. As soon as that bam hit me, because I was like, this is the blacksmith. This is the blacksmith. That iron, that metal, that I was not expecting. I was thinking, oh, it's a little bit of honest Amish. That's okay. I'll be fine with that. And then bam, and then I was like, this is next level. This is next level stuff. And to the beard piece, this is, and I have now tried quite a bit of product over the last 7-8 months.
Yeah.
And this by far is the perfect combination for my beard. I have a few that are really in my top. I'm not going to lie. I love Boston Mike stuff as well, but this doesn't ever make my beard feel oily, ever. And I know it keeps it hydrated because it's definitely feels soft, but the fact that it doesn't leave that oily kind of residue that's on your beard, and you kind of just feel that kind of, sometimes in some beard oils, you just have this sense that there's that oil still in there. Yeah, it smells okay. I still feel the oil on my beard and just feels, I never get that with this. It's soft. It absorbs perfectly. And like you said, the balm is perfect. It is definitely a good hold all day. I have a friend at work that is very similar to my wife, who has not been on the beard train as much. They're tolerating it. And today was the first day after I used the Shaman where the person said, your beard's on point today. So
I didn't talk to a friend at work. I didn't talk to her for like 6 months because I asked her to, take a whiff of my beard one day. I was wearing something else that my wife happened to like a lot. And she goes, no, I'm not going to smell your nasty ass Jerry curl stuff, your Soul Glow. Dude, I didn't talk to her for 6 months. I was so butthurt. I call this Soul Glow. I mean, come on, man. Soul Glow. Coming to America, King Jafar. Sorry. Yeah, people don't get it. Unless they're into it, people don't get it, The little Jester pack, the little one-time use pack you sent.
Oh, you got one of those, huh? That's
yeah. I gave it to a buddy at work. A buddy of mine who's very much like I used to be. I hate shaving, so I grew a beard for a month. I get itchy, shave it off.
Yeah, that's totally my experience.
And he was like, man, I'm getting really itchy. I'm gonna shave it off again. I was like, wait a minute, let me talk to you about sebum oil and what beard oil can do for you. And so I dropped him off a couple of things in that Jester pack, and he let me know that his wife loved it a lot. So hopefully we've got another beardo coming on board.
All right.
But yeah, it's unless you're in it like we are, or like our wives are, people don't get it.
Well, I thought that was particular to Miami, and it seems not, from what I'm hearing. There's a lot of men who first of all think it's some kind of snake oil or some shit, or like, what are you telling me? Like this is some crock of nonsense. And then you start to educate them a little bit, and then they catch on. And they start realizing, and they use it, and then they see that there's a difference, right? And stop using their wife's shampoo. And
I was guilty of that.
No, me too.
I was guilty of using my wife's shampoo or some of her conditioner. I'm fully guilty of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. And that's the one thing that I'm fairly decent friends with Dan, who does an excellent job of helping newbies and, seasoned beardos as well, with just informing and giving a lot of good information about how to treat your beard well. And I think that our community helps develop that for people. And I work with at least 15 guys that don't use beard oil and now started using it because I started talking about it. And there was a guy at work that kind of passed it around. Actually, the reason why I even got into it, because he passed around a thing of beard balm and said, "Hey," and I said, "That smells amazing. Where did you get that?" And then that's now turned into a YouTube channel and, Instagram craziness. It led me down a rabbit hole that's amazing, because the guys that are committed to this are extremely nice, generous people. We have our moments, but for the most part, I really try to keep it positive. And the interactions that I have are very positive with most of our community, and very happy to be participating in that. And I think that's, awesome that we have a bunch of guys that are willing to talk really cool things about beards, awesome products. And then we have artists like Abraham that are just creators, making amazing things happening for men as well as women in this case. You're branching out into that sphere, but I love the fact that you're able to blend your art into what this is for grooming, for men. This was if you go in, the biggest thing that I've noticed is that if you go to, say for instance, a grocery store, they may have a couple things of Cremo out.
Yeah.
Still not out there yet. And this is still a very unique individual, or very unique area of men's grooming products. But it's starting to get that notoriety, and it's starting to churn and get, not just trendy, but it's starting to get into that space of these things are good for you.
Like it's becoming a permanent fixture into the aisle, right?
Right.
What I am noticing is that the large corporations are picking up on this. They have teams of researchers that are on top of this. They follow the communities probably, and they see what's happening, and they jump on it. Gillette or some of the other ones. And to be quite honest, you try it out. Crack open one of those bottles and pour that into your hand. And you'll see a stark difference between handcrafted versus this very commercially created product.
Right, completely agree. And I think that if you look at any of these bigger corporations, they're in for the buck. And companies like yourself, they're in for not just the buck. They're in for the artistry that goes into it. Because that's the people that are lasting in this community are the artists. I've noticed people like yourself, Fable. I know that Boston Mike, those type of people are going into this area, and they're doing well because they get it. They get that this is a small batch area, that it's handcrafted, homegrown, amazing stuff, that you are helping provide a solution to men's, beard itch, but also the smells are so amazing that, it definitely is an amazing area to be in right now.
And it's lasted. It's been 2 years, over 2 years. You figure it might die out, but it's still going.
I was I'm just a little analysis on that. I think it's interesting because I think that in a time where, things are merging, this is an area where it's very distinct. A men's beard is something that I have felt is something that's, for men, this is our thing. We're growing a beard. This is our area of representation. This is something that I am. I'm a bearded man. And I think that having something unique for us is amazing.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right. And having that experience with other guys. Right.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just there's no need to apologize for that. And there's tons of different subcultures and communities. And what's neat about this one is that it's pretty embracing to all walks of life. Ethnicities, cultures. It doesn't matter. What kind of ties all of us together is facial hair. And
Yeah, and we all grow it for different reasons. There might be a ton of different reasons, but I think the fact that you have men that are embracing that type of thing, and men having the ability to talk together is huge. I think that just even having three guys on a YouTube channel, and being able to talk about, masculinity, is very important. And I find that there.
especially nowadays,
Hmm.
it's under attack. That whole I mean, depends on how you want to look at it, but to be a man is
Is to be wrong.
is to be wrong or toxic or all these loose terms that are tossed around. And there's nothing wrong with differences between men and women. We both have strengths, we both have weaknesses, and we should celebrate our beard. This is natural. When you shave, you're preventing, you're stopping something natural from happening. I'm not anti-shaving, but this is the natural course. Growing a beard is the natural course for a man. Whether you grow it long or short, or it doesn't fill in completely, but that is the natural course.
And I think celebrating that, I think that's what this community celebrates. And being in it has made a huge difference. I was telling somebody, so I'm definitely part of what we call a sangha, and I feel that this community is very much like that for me. You can jump on IG, you can jump on YouTube, and you can have this sense of community. You can have this experience. And I love talking to people like Barbu Joe, who you just jump on and he's just as excited about the beard products as you are. And what did you buy? I got to know. I love it. I just absolutely love that. And me and Brian talked for a little bit about just your company and having the unique experiences we have with it. I just love that. That's the reason why we said, hey, let's do a live stream. Let's do this. This is awesome because we have the opportunity to express this.
Yeah, I was curious how it all came together. I know we were going to do a post
yeah, well,
release,
yeah.
But, I'm glad that you and Brian were in communication and
yeah, and I can't remember why. I think just me and Brian were just sitting there chatting, and we were talking about your products, of course, and we were just like, this is awesome. I said, you know what? You have a really good relationship with Abraham, and you have a unique experience as well. Let's get you on. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Like we just chatted one night, and I was like, hey, what do you think about that Shaman?
Yep.
I don't think I had it yet. I think I was a couple of days from getting it. And I think when I got it is when I hit you up, and I was like, what do you think about this? And just kind of like, what we should do? We should do like a live post-launch review, So.
And that's what this is. And I'm so glad that we're sitting right at the hour. I want to be mindful of everybody's time.
Sure. Yeah.
So if you guys need to jump off here in a bit, that's fine. We can keep talking for however long you guys want to. It's Friday night for me. I have kids that this is the end. I only have one kid at home right now. I only have one kid at home.
Is it 6 o'clock for you guys now or something, or
it's 6:30. Yeah, 6:30 for me, and I think 7:30.
7:30 for me. Yeah.
Well, I before I hop off, I do. I have a special announcement today that I wanted to use this particular venue to use. I hope you don't mind, Andrew. But
go ahead.
It's been some time ever since the the Blue Lion came out, and Brian has been very, very adamant. A very adamant supporter. And he's just blown up, and I appreciate, Brian, everything you've done in support of the company. So you and I have spoken about some things, but I think it's a perfect spot to kind of bring you in, buddy. I'd like you to be a
what? Oh, hell yeah, brother!
All right. We had talked about it. I'm trying to work the camera here a little bit, but
hell yeah!
I'll virtually give you this shirt now, but I'll get you one.
Of course, they're putting it on. No, I'm honored, brother. I'm honored. Really, that's awesome. Yeah, we talked about it down the road. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm sorry I lied to you, man. I told you it was some new release of a butter or something, but I had to bullshit you so that stroll you along a little bit, because you'd figure it out pretty quick, I think. So there you go.
Wait, there's not a new butter coming out?
Not yet.
I was gonna order today. It's payday. It's beard order day.
Yeah, I know, but I got a code for you, so hang on tight, and after the stream, we'll touch bases.
Thank you. That's awesome. That's
You got it. The boys are going to be excited. The rest of the crew is going to be very happy to have you join us. And
thank you.
It's a great group of guys. So, Andrew, thank you so much again for having me on here, and Brian, and allowing having a nice, open, candid discussion about the products and my company, and I truly appreciate these moments of good conversation. So we should do it again sometime again. So
you bet, buddy. I'm down for that. So I always end with, what is going on in our world? What do you got going on, Mr. Abraham? Next week, next month?
Yeah, so pretty soon, the last quarter, we already are in the last quarter, but next month or so, expect the second round of the Barbudos limited edition oils coming out. So there's going to be another 3 that are going to be released. Again, limited edition. So, get them while they're hot. It's going to be a short run, but there's going to be something that's going to continue to happen. So that's what's going to happen pretty soon.
Very exciting. So let's look forward to that. What do you got going on, Mr. Brian?
Unfortunately, I've got some unfortunate news on the family front back home in Arkansas. Trying to process that.
Well, we're here for you, brother. We're here for you, brother.
I'm sure to handle that. And I've got some stuff at work that like you and I have talked about this, but I decided to stay where I was at, but now it's just some work stuff. I got changes to process and work out, and go from there, and just hang out with the wife and kids.
There you go.
2 months.
Yeah, that's positivity right there, my friend. That's positivity. So for my front, I am going to Disneyland next week with extended family. So 23 people, I think, that we're going to Disneyland. All expenses paid by my dad, who said, I would rather spend your inheritance now than than let you guys all fight over it later. So we're going to Disneyland for 3 days, and then we're going to take an extended trip down to San Diego and enjoy our time down there. San Diego is my personal family, is favorite place to be. So we're going to spend some beach time, probably catch a little waves, and enjoy ourselves. I really, really, really want to show appreciation to both of you guys coming on. I'm very happy that you were able to get Mr. Brian into your community, Barbu, and thank you guys very much for joining.
You're a grandfather, right, Andrew?
I am. I have 2, and I have 1 on the way. Yep.
I think we're all
like a 30-year-old grandfather.
we're all about the same age, right? We're all about 32.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
I'm 32. I just went gray really early. Yeah.
Yeah, we found out the other day that, and that's kind of a cool thing. So my daughter is coming with us, and she just found out she's having a boy. So
Awesome.
Yeah, congratulations.
yeah, very exciting. Yeah, I'm excited to be a granddad again. That's I think actually that's the thrill of after you raise your kids, that when they come back with their kids and you can spoil them rotten, kiss and love them to death, and then give them back.
Well, have a good time in Disneyland.
You bet. You bet. And have a good evening, guys. I really appreciate you guys coming on. And thank you everybody else who out in the community was helping support us. We'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you.
All right. Good night, guys. Good night.
Night.
See ya.